Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Awakenings with Michele Meiche, the weekly dose of spiritual and metaphysical insights and information for navigating the soul path. During the show, if you would like to call in for a reading or with comments or questions, call 347-539-5122 and press 1 on the keypad, or join the Sacred Space of Empowerment live chat. Create a username by registering with Blog Talk Radio. It's great to connect with all of you here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. I'm your host and pilot for this little journey. I'm Michele Meiche. For those of you that perhaps are tuning in for the first time, welcome. Just welcome. And welcome everyone in the chat room, also known as the Sacred Space of Empowerment Room. And hello to everyone that will be listening via iTunes, TuneIn Radio, the other podcasts, and of course, iTunes. Happy Wednesday. Hey, Shell in the chat, Lar. Welcome guests that are coming in. People are starting to stream right in. And we've got lots of callers. Speaking of callers, if you'd like to call in for a reading, just to say hello, that number is 347-539-5122. That's 347-539-5122. And this is really important. Press 1 on the keypad, and that lets me know that you want to get on air. And go to my website, selfinlight.com. You can find out a little bit about my background, but call in virtually with most questions from psychological, transpersonal, esoteric, astrology, numerology, metaphysics, spirituality, dream therapy, trained in that as well, trained in herbology, holistic health counseling. So I've got a wide background, and of course we talk about all things soul here, everything that connects us to our soul and the soul path. I also want to share with everybody, many of you know this already, but I have an amazing, if I do say so myself, I'm just saying because of the feedback course on Daily Om, which helps you navigate this great soul awakening that's happening, and navigate your greatest soul shift is the name of the course. And it's interesting, I probably wouldn't have named it that. Would have named it something like that, but the company, Daily Om, that's the name that they chose. And it's apt. But to me, it's not so much that the soul is awakening, it's that we are awakening to the soul on the earth dimension, or the lower self, or the little personality. Ego is connecting more with the true personality, which is the soul. So there is more of us wanting to live more authentically, but from a soul level. And of course that takes some journeying to do. So it's my gift, my joy, my mission, my passion to help people do this, to assist in living more soul-led. And also on that note, I am going to be starting a soul entrepreneurship group. I've been asked by quite a few clients and people that I've worked with. And if you've wakened up to your soul's purpose, you want help in aligning more to that, or you have an inkling what it is and you really want to actualize more of your gifts, make them an actual reality in the world, and to receive from it, to receive energy. And that energy is connections, connecting more with your soul tribe, of living more soul fulfilled, and of course making the dollars, having the exchange for what it is that you want to do. So making it real in the reality, some people call the real world, but I think it's important for people not only to do what they love doing, but there is a way to make that your quote-unquote job or career, to take those gifts. And so if you are out there doing that in the world right now, if you are already embarked on that, this will be a peer to mentor group. We'll do a lot of resonance repatterning, emotional clearing, visioning, and then some of the things that I've learned from people that have created some very, very successful startups So there will be the quote-unquote biz side. So we're going to look at, we're going to look at actualizing our soul purpose from many different angles. And, really for me, the idea to live soul-fueled or soul-fed is it happens mentally, emotionally, spiritually, materially, physically, financially. It's all these levels that you connect in with. And, of course, everybody has their own way of doing it in their own balance. And that's also what I'll be helping people do. So we've got a great program today. Kind of always do, don't we, though? I'm kind of excited about this one. We do have Bernardo Kastrup who's coming back with us, and he's going to be diving into the delusion of materialism and the cultural impact. And he's really, he's got some amazing books if you want to go to his website and check them out before he comes on, BernardoKastrup.com, and Kastrup's with a K. So he's got a background in nuclear research, and he's done computer engineering with a specializing in artificial intelligence and reconfigurable computing. Woo! Those of you that know me, I'm a bit of one of my handles is techie mystic. So I really like the technical to the mystical, mixing both. Shell in the chat, thank you. Shell in the chat just put, there hasn't been a bad show yet. Oh, thank you, Shell. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. That's well, you guys, as I say, the callers, everybody has their part. Everyone has their part in co-creating awakenings, and I'm very aware of that and very honored how everybody comes together, and even some people that, can't listen live, they're still in part of the co-creation, and all the guest suggestions that I get, topic suggestions, even the wonderful positive feedback, or even, where's Tamara that catches me on things a lot, helping in my growth, calling me out on stuff, or just bringing stuff into my own awareness, just keep things, I think, kind of fresh. I like keeping stuff fresh. And if any of you, whether you've been listening for a short time or a long time, if you feel the call to suggest something, or maybe a guest or a topic, or a direction, or have you ever tried doing this or that, we're very open to that on the program, and you can email us anytime at awakeningsradio@gmail.com and kind of let us know what you think. We're always open to hearing that, and that keeps the co-creation happening, and that's what we want. That's I was at LIB Festival, Lightning in a Bottle, this weekend, and I guess it was like 5 days, and it was amazing. I really had an amazing time. I will share that I do find in things like this, and even now, and especially even as a teenager and in my 20s, as an empath, it's a lot of energy. When you get with large groups, I don't know, there's a lot of times people don't realize that, how much, and I tend to need a lot of, kind of downtime when I do these kind of things, to kind of pull back and reflect, and maybe don't catch every, I don't want to rush and catch shows, or, of course I had to hear my music. I had a couple great DJs, Sunburn, Jack London that I love, Tycho, old school favorite, John Digweed was there. So I got my dancing in, which was great. Got some great, listening to some great talks in as well, and then some nice, oh my God, really amazing meditation time. I don't know, on my Instagram and also Facebook, I posted a picture of my view. You can just see part of my legs and my feet, and it was just this amazing ravine, apparently where there used to be a lake, and there was just such a rich, vibrant energy, and it was juxtapositioned of a lot happening around, but right in that spot, it was so quiet and peaceful, and yeah, so got some nice little bits of yoga and meditation in, which was really nice and very magical to walk around in the evening. I mean, late evening or early morning when most of the people were, gone and the music had stopped. Or there was very little music, kind of just more, quiet, lesser decibels. And amazing sunrises and sunsets and, of course, nature. And, of course, lots of spiders. And you know what I kept thinking? This is so funny. I'm going to have to share this with my friends because I had this thought. Tarantulas, thank God we had a good tent. And my boyfriend's kind of an expert camper, so it's just great. We had nice, cushy little heaters in there and, nice air mattress and everything and nice stove to cook because I love cooking. Camping, a lot of people say, oh, just who cares about the eating? I loved staying at camp. I like to hang out in camp, read. Of course, I bought my I Ching and, other books. I'm still reading Dr. Maynard's book, Elliot Maynard's book, Brave New World, Living a Future Science World. And then this other book, I have another guest that's going to be on about writing from the soul. So I got that in. And but I was looking around, and I know all of you will appreciate this, and I'm thinking, spiders. As soon as we set up camp, the people that were part of our camp were like, oh my God, there's spiders, tarantulas. They were showing us pictures of tarantulas that they had taken. Kind of baby ones, not like the big black ones with the yellow or orange, which are kind of beautiful actually, yellow-orange spots. But this campsite, tons of spiders, even black widows. And I started thinking, in animal medicine, spiders have to do with creativity and weaving that web and interconnectedness and community. And most specifically, creativity, weaving something, creating a pattern in your own life. And the flip side of that is drama. Are you weaving or creating drama? Or are you weaving and creating creativity, creative, forms in your life? Are you living from that space of creative, an appreciation of creative living and your own creativity? And I thought, oh my God, how apropos and how reflective, because Lightning in a Bottle is focused a lot on creativity, art, music, self-expression, yoga, consciousness. I remember when it first started, I always wanted to go, but I wasn't able to because I was doing a lot of work and projects, and I was in the middle of everything. So I really didn't want to take the time to get away. And I think also I was teaching meditation and metaphysical courses at Agape Spiritual Center, and a couple of the classes were. At one point, there were Saturday classes I had, and then I had Thursday classes, Thursday day and Thursday morning. So it really didn't work out in my schedule, and that was fine. I mean, it was, all good. But I do remember that there was always a major focus on not just the creativity, but consciousness, classes on growth, spirituality, yoga, and expression of all form, artist expression. So spider medicine. So I'm like, okay, this makes sense. And I want to answer a question. It's probably better if she calls in Michele Leah, but and then we're going to get to the phone line. Who wanted to ask a question, wanted to know about her spirit guides or angels, and she's given me a picture, which I can do in her birth date. 4/5. So when I looked at her, I got a lot of you with owl medicine and raven. There's a lot to do with, and to check out Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, looking on the angelic realm. So I do feel that you've come in with a connection to magic and focusing on esoteric studies or wisdom, maybe astrology, numerology, and yours has also been a path of a lot of change, and you may have felt in your life that at some point you don't know where you're going, or why is something happening to you in your life, and that is because of that raven. There's a lot of your changes bring you more in touch to the magic. Now, anytime we have crow or raven medicine, they're both akin. You're tapping into not just magic and mysticism or the mystical, but you're tapping into the transformational, okay, because they both represent change. And the crow can tend to be a little more what you might call, it's still magical, mystical, obviously, but can be a little more of the changes in the mundane realm, like there might be changes in your circumstances. So I hope that helps. Anybody else can do this with a picture, your birth date, and I can tune in for you. It's probably when they're more personal questions like that, better to call in, but not impossible to do this way. So let's see who do we have here. So the first half of the program, we will be diving into your questions, your comments, your happenings, and it's funny, on the chat, Sheila's saying, oh my God, I love camp food. Yeah, but my camp food, like I like to do, like I went to this Desert Heart, and I made quiche, because it's so easy to do. You can still, I'm not much of the mushroom, what is it, mushroom, I do like mushrooms in my omelets, but I'm not much of the, the marshmallow, that kind of thing. But I guess I could eat regular stuff, canned food or whatever, but I might as well, I'd like to eat fresh, bring coconuts, have that, avocado, of course I have my Synergy and stuff, but I think you can still eat well. And when as a kid, we went camping, and we always had, it probably was cost back in the day, but my parents always had more fresh food. You really didn't bring a lot of canned stuff, very little. It was food that we ever brought, made at home and brought, or made right there, like, big thing of spaghetti, or throwing some burgers or steaks or chicken, something with a big salad or vegetables, and bread of some sort maybe. So it really wasn't kind of the quick on the go, I guess you call it fast food. We really didn't do that, or junk food. No. Not judging, not saying anything, but just saying that's my preference. Anyway, those of you that want to connect with me, you can, again, email awakeningsradio@gmail.com, or if you want to talk now, that number is 347-539-5122. Let's get to the callers. All right. Hi, 5112-497, you're on Awakening. Hi.
Hi, Juliana. Good to hear you again.
Great. Who is it, Juliana?
Juliana, yeah.
Hi, Juliana. Hi, welcome.
The last time was about my medical relief trip, which went really great, just like you said.
Oh, good.
Yeah, now I'm kind of calling about summer. I've talked to you a few times, like I went through a really, horrific time in my life 2 years ago. It was like my Saturn return, and pretty much I lost everything in my life, absolutely everything, and it was devastating. And this is the year I think I'm starting to have the strength to go through and deal with it all. And I'm in school right now, and it's pretty challenging to stay focused. And I've been playing around with the idea of taking the summer off, and I don't know if that's really a good idea or not. I don't really know what it means necessarily to take time off to heal. I've been doing things here and there, but it's just been a lot, and I wonder if I'm going to drag it out if I don't focus kind of on that healing process. And I don't know.
The one thing I hear from you that would be good, and I think this goes for everyone, is how can you take those breaks during, in between all that you're doing, instead of not always having to take large time off. Now, the one thing, Juliana, I'm getting with you, are you not sure about what you want to do? I feel like there could be a change coming around you in your direction. Does that make sense?
I've pretty much.
Or did you just
jumping around to things and just trying things out, and not necessarily living in a passionate way, but certainly a fearless way. I'll try anything.
Good.
Things
That's me too. Yep. Yep.
But,
so your phone's wiggling out. I don't know if you can move just a little bit away from the. We're having trouble hearing you a little bit. Got a message of that. So you're wondering whether to take off from school? Is that it?
Yeah, like take the school like runs year round. It's 4 years straight, and so I'm in my halfway point. I've done 2 years, and it's just been really hard to like really focus on myself and healing when I'm in school. And after 2 years, it's like I've been beaten down. I'm like low energy, and I'm like, is this a good time to take off? Is that a horrible idea and I'll never go back?
Well, you could, but here's the thing. You might not. I kind of feel something new is coming in for you. I'm not sure that if what you're studying is exactly it or you're wanting. Is there any way that you could take less courses?
Yeah, I guess so. It's still kind of just like mentally, when you're in school, it's just always over your head and you just like can't get away because you always feel like you have obligations of like, I feel like
welcome. That's life in general.
Well, yeah,
that's life in general when you have a class.
Well, but I feel like with work, like when you leave, it's there's a feeling of doneness, whereas with school, it's like sort of occupies your brain all the time. And I've been wondering if that's why it's been hard for me to, turn in, focus in on.
I think you can take the time off. It sounds like that's what you're drawn to. I'm not so sure that this is the path of the school or the program for you. I think that's what's actually coming up. I think that there's something changing for you on a soul level. I think that's what you're picking up. Because honestly, the work that I do, I think about it all the time. That's why I'm constantly posting on my Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. It's like
right.
I still take time off for myself, but I do think of the people that I work with, or that they inspire me. I inspire them. I do think of awakenings. I think this would be great. Because it's part of my life. It's my life. I think about that. I'd love to share this or whatever. Or clients that I work with personally, I think of, this is a good process, or I should tell them about this place because they're going through this or that. So I think when you find whatever you really love, and for me, when I went back, the times that I've done large blocks of training and schooling, and I've done a few, even though I had a lot going on, I so loved what I did. So it is a certain headspace, but it's also, if you're on the right path, then it harnesses this kind of energy. So if what you're doing is really fueling you, then you do. So that's the key to me. When I start feeling draggy or tired, like I mentioned earlier about teaching at Agape Spiritual Center, when I was doing that the first few years, and I couldn't believe it, went on for 7 years I was there. The first few years, I had, still a huge clientele. I was just starting the radio show, but I was doing it on another station. So I was having to record and edit and upload the show. I mean, I was having to do everything. I was also doing sound healing and learning sound editing. So all that plus my clients. Then I had, no lie, sometimes 4 6 months, 4 classes, 3-hour classes. I'd have one on a Saturday, 2 on a Tuesday, Thursday, 1 in the morning and 1 at night, because they wanted us to offer the meditation course part of the curriculum. There had to be, 2 times, day and night. Mm-hmm. Later, I was able to whittle it down. But sometimes, honestly, I was up 20 hours, and I would sleep only 4 hours, and I was so now, mind you, I meditate. I did things to harness that energy, took my good supplements and herbs. So I would say if you're feeling that exhaustion and that draggy, something is a little off. And you're probably just going to
say, because I'm not actually doing, it's the acupuncture herbal medicine program. So I'm in school doing all the practical things, but I'm not actually practicing yet. So it's like I don't even have the experience. Like I'm not actually working in the job that I'm like.
Oh no! I know. I've had clinicals. I've had to take a course, for years at a time where I wasn't. Yeah, where it's a lot of studying and it's a lot of honestly, the grunt work. It's not. But
Right.
something is a little off. So whatever you want to call that, whether that's taking a break to find out what it is, maybe there's something else that you're going to do in between. But I would listen to your own inner knowing on this. If you are feeling I need this break, then I would say that's what to do.
Yeah.
I'm just not so sure. I mean, it's
talking. Is fear talking?
What now?
Like I can't tell what's talking in my inner self, about that.
Well, I'll tell you, when I was trying to say just stick with it, you were kind of very adamant that you didn't want to. So my sense is I feel that you feel you won't complete, and I do feel that there's a good chance that you won't, that you'll get caught up in something else.
Okay.
Which is fine. I went through, I was studying Jungian psychology, and also at the same time Jungian dream interpretation and Sanoa dream interpretation. And I went halfway through the program in Jungian psychology, and actually I was like a little protege to the founder of the school, and she was a mentor of mine, a teacher, also a therapist. And I just got the message that this isn't it, and
right.
So I'm not saying that's particularly for you. I think you have to come to that the conclusion on your own is what I'm hearing. I feel you need to step back. And I just posted something like this on my Facebook. It's so funny about the lookout. Sometimes you get to a point in your life where you have to just step back and kind of look out where you've been to see where you might want to go. I feel for you something different is coming in for you. And I feel on an intuitive level, you're getting that, you're realizing that, but you don't yet know what it is. So I do think that the space, you taking the time off, will allow you to come to that.
Okay.
Because there's not enough space right now for you to kind of contemplate, and it's head space. I think you could make the time, the physical space, but there's something.
It's like I need to totally unplug from that situation, like what I'm in now. It's like I can't see my, what do you call it, something through the clouds.
yes, or whatever, forest through the trees, or trees in the forest. Yeah, I guess, forest through the trees, or and you just, after you do it, you'll come to an understanding of why you had to. But unfortunately, in these times when we're kind of being soul-led, we don't necessarily know. The ego part of his personality doesn't really know what's going on. It just has to kind of follow through. And then you'll know, oh, that's why, I needed to do this or that, or I had to go here. So yeah, I would definitely follow your intuition. I think this is part, of you integrating this way of being for yourself, is to listen to that part of you.
All
Did that help at all?
Sounds good. Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
gives me more things to think about.
Yeah. All right, great to connect.
All right, thank you.
Bye. You're welcome. Hi, 435-680, you're on Awakenings.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on air. Who's this?
Hi, this is Michele. That was the email that you got earlier that you were answering.
Wonderful. And you were able to come in. Oh, my God, call in. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you feel about that? I was getting a lot of lot of winged beings, especially raven. There was a little bit of owl energy coming in. But
it makes a lot of sense. Ravens are all around me over here. Of course, I live in the desert, so maybe. Oh,
but still, there's no mistake of why you're in the desert, and so, that's very cool. Yeah, I was getting a lot to do with the ravens and the crows, and winged ones. I kept hearing the winged ones, and then in the angelic realm, I kept getting Gabriel. Do you find you tend to either within yourself clear things out a lot, or help people clear things out, whether it's junk or things in their mind or what's stopping people?
I don't know, maybe. Maybe.
Or cut through? Are you very, what's the word I want to say, kind of to the point?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's Archangel Gabriel. Gabriel cuts away things. So sometimes it can be, through talking, it can be through things, it can be through healing. But it's usually people that are connected to Archangel Gabriel have a way of just saying what is. They don't really, mince words. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So do you have a...
Yeah. Just if you knew the names of any of my spirit guides.
Names of, specific spirits other than the animal guides? Let me... Let's see if there's anybody that comes up. The only one that I'm hearing, and it sounds like Toma or Tomo, Tonar, Toma. Yeah, and I get do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
Okay. And I get a very strong Native American presence. Yeah, very, very strong. So, again, this kind of doesn't surprise me then you're in the desert. So, yeah. Any other?
That's really cool.
Any other questions? Oh, wonderful.
No,
wonderful. I'm glad you were able to call.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit and think about what you said. And yeah, really interesting. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for calling in. It's great to hear from you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye. Everyone, that call-in number 347-539-5122. Press 1 on your keypad. Let's go to, see, did I say 512? 201-716. Welcome to Awakenings.
Hi, Michelle. This is Debbie.
Hey, Debbie. Welcome.
Yes, I recently had an ex-boyfriend contact me to come back into my life as a friend. He hasn't been in my life for 5 years. I walked away from the relationship because of lack of communication and intimacy. My question to you is, should I allow
say that you woke up to what now? What now?
I walked away. I walked away from the relationship because of poor communication and, no intimacy. He was a very selfish person. What I'm asking you is, should I allow him back into my life as a friend? Can I trust that? And my birthday is November 1st.
Well, here's the thing. You can trust you. Why aren't you feeling? But I'm hearing you're wanting something from him that he, that you may not have gotten as in an intimate way.
Okay.
Yeah. So why don't you feel you can trust him? Is the question I would ask you.
Because when we were in a relationship, he was very just into himself, very, very cold and very distant. So I'm a very loving and emotional and a passionate person. I can say I love hard, but this person was totally opposite of me. So if he come back into my life as a friend, and I see, I have a small group of friends, and they're very. I don't say everybody's my friend. It's very important. If I call you my friend, you mean a lot to me. So he wants to be my friend now and be part of my life as a friend. So I allow him.
Because I think you can have. You see, I'm not one for totally cutting off. I let people wind in, wind out. But I go very much by if there's not a lot of resonance, you won't be around somebody that much. The one thing I feel with him, I do feel this is the individual that kind of always wants something.
Yes.
Now, that might be, so that might be just wanting your approval, your opinion, even dating. If he's dating, I don't know if you're going to like that, because I do feel he sees you as very loving, kind, and wise.
Yes, yes.
What he's wanting is a confidant, but I think you're going to have really good boundaries and kind of stricter boundaries because he's going to, want to be chatty about things that you're going to feel like, well, it's going to be kind of triggering to you or hurtful. Like, why is he talking about this? Or
right.
He didn't feel that way with me. So, right. I feel he misses the companionship, your wisdom, you being as a confidant.
Right. I feel that way too. He does. Yes. And
so it depends on you if you want to have that dynamic. I would just say, you can always leave the door open, but if you're not feeling it, you could just be very busy. Do you know what I mean? I don't, because I feel when we do these declarations of complete yes or no, or I'm not going to talk to this person anymore, or I hate them, or this or that, that's all kind of wounded child stuff. It's a wounded part of us speaking, the unevolved part of our ego. So, but you can be, hey, yeah, if you, whatever, if you ever want to get together, or if you ever want to take me to a movie, fine. You want to take me to dinner, fine, as a friend. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel you are picking up on something that I feel is there, which is that you might feel there's a usury type of situation coming up. Like you might feel he's using me. Yes. Yeah. And you're right. Yeah. And you would be right.
Yes, because you always like to talk to me and get my opinion and tell me your problems, even in a relationship. But he didn't do that for me. I wasn't able to go to him and talk to him. But on the other hand, he was able to do that. He got that from me, but I didn't get that from him. So yeah.
Well, I'm seeing intuitively you're not going to get it from him as a friend either.
Okay.
He doesn't have it, And,
doesn't have it. Yes.
No. Years ago I had quite a good friend of mine, a lot older, and I consider him a kind of a mentor. And I'd helped him through something, and he gave me a very expensive bracelet. It was 18-karat gold. It was gorgeous. I didn't want it, though. I said, oh, no, we're friends, And he gave me some great advice, and he was right, because he didn't have anything else to give but money, to be honest. He said, Michele, some people, this is all they have to give. Accept it. And so I did. And I learned from that. We have to learn what people can give us and not expect something else. But you also have to see if that's a fair value for you.
Right.
You have to see what would be the fair value or exchange for you. And if it's not worth it, then it's just not worth it.
I don't think I should go back there. It wasn't worth it in a relationship. It's not going to be worth it in a friendship.
Right. But how did he say he wants to be friends?
He just wanted us, to reconnect, talk. Basically, he missed what I did for him. I talked to him all the time, and I gave him opinions about life, and I was easygoing person, no stress, no fuss type of relationship on my part. But in return, I got nothing. It was just like a shallow.
Nothing.
A cell.
Yeah. That's him. That's going to be him.
Yes.
I'd leave the door open, but say I'm very busy, and if, when things, I'll call you when things, slow down a little bit, we can catch up.
Right.
There's a way to do that, but, and then you just be very busy, But I think I just not am the person that says, no, I don't want to be your friend, because you just never know what Spirit puts in front of you, but there is a way to do that on your own terms.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? And I think that's the lesson for you here.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Debbie, because I feel in the first type of relationship, I feel everything was on his terms. So yes, yes. Oh, yes. So this is the time for you to take the high road, to handle it from a higher conscious perspective, but also put that boundary there. That if you want to open the door, okay, he wants to open, that's fine, but if you want to open the door, right now you're busy. You've got a lot on your plate. If it works out, maybe we'll get together at some point. And just leave it at that. Because if you get into something else and she's hurt, she doesn't want to be my friend because it didn't work out. I mean, Yeah. And I'm finding for you, by the way, and everyone else that's listening, there's going to be more of this. There's a lot of people that are feeling even more. It's always been this way, but there's going to be more of it where they're feeling the light, or this person knows something or knows more, or how are they navigating their life, but they don't want to do the work. And it's okay to help people that want to do the work, but if they don't want to do the work, it's not a fair exchange universally. It's just not an exchange.
It was like I was doing the work for him. Yeah.
Exactly. And so he wants that little feel-good again. He's calling to get a little feel-good, to reconnect in, but he has to learn how to do that on his own.
Yes. You are so right. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
Much peace. Bye. Hi, 310-936. You're on Awakenings. Oopsie.
Hello?
310-936. Howdy. Hello.
Hi, Michelle. It's Lar.
Hey, Lar, welcome.
Hi. I can totally relate to that last caller.
Could you? Oh my gosh, there's so much of that right now.
Very much so.
People that, the energies.
That, but
yeah, people don't want to do, and especially now, they're really seeing things are wigging out, changing, and they're like, but they don't want to do the work.
Yeah. I had somebody like that I was dealing with, and I cut off relations with them quite a while back and haven't talked to them or anything like that. But no, but that's not why I was calling. So
okay, so tell me.
So more business and work questions again. Everything's going really good for me. Right now, I'm my business. I'm able to sustain myself just from my business. I don't have to do any extra outside jobs anymore for that.
Good.
Okay. But now I'm getting to the point. It's like, okay, so what's next? And the last time I talked to you, you mentioned about doing some more things with my art and possibly making money from my art. I want to see if you're picking up any more.
Okay, let's look at. Okay. Well, I'm hearing don't cram the space. It's showing to connect more. Yeah, so in other words, you're saying what's next. So just leave everything that's going on now.
Okay.
And it's saying in your day-to-day routine to branch out more, time in nature, focus on your self-expression, your art, be around places that are artistically inspiring is what it's saying. So there is something new emerging through you, but it's not yet informed. You don't yet have the direction. So you just need to allow the space for it to come through.
Okay. I did have one little...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. It's just saying, okay, go ahead. We've got a delay here. It's just the guidance is just saying, don't cram the space or you'll miss, like those moments where the inspiration comes in. There needs to be space to be inspired. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've actually, creatively, I've been on a very good trend lately, I have to say. So where I've been frustrated in the past for many years, and now I've kind of found a routine to kind of, work on my being inspired and doing things. So I'm feeling more open that way. I did have one little thing that happened to me about a little over a month ago. I met a lady who asked me if I ever considered getting into commercials, and she was an agent. And so she asked me to send her pictures and all these things, and I haven't heard back from her since. Even I sent an email to her just to check in and still haven't heard back, and I was wondering if anything is going to come of that.
That could be a piece of it is what I'm hearing. There could be a piece there because I feel a few, it's just showing creative expression, art and creative expression. So whatever that is for you that you feel drawn. Now, Laura, do you ever do anything with installations or sculptures? 3D stuff?
I can't. No, not really. No.
Okay, but you do paintings, right, or sketching, painting?
I can do sketching. It's not the main thing I do. I'm more into music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Get out the sketch pad, but there's some place you're going to go. I see it like there's like a labyrinth or something. I don't even know. It might even be just like self-realization fellowship or something. But I'm seeing like these sculptures or something in a garden, and I'm seeing you walking through it. So I don't know why. I'm just getting that premonition, getting that intuitively. So there's a turning point for you there. They're telling me, seek out those places. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense to me because I enjoy those type of like natural things and art, kind of coming together.
Yeah. Well, there might be something audio-visual. There might be something where you're combining. I don't know if it's on your own or collaborating with somebody.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I'm definitely seeing something new. Something that probably you haven't even done before. There's a next level that's going to connect. Yeah, that's going to connect you in a different way to your art.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I am. I'm kind of feeling like, okay, what's the next level? So that's interesting.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
there you
good.
Go. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. It's always good to call and talk to you.
Yeah, always great to see you and also to hear you. See you, Laura.
All right. Take care.
Mm-hmm. Bye. You too.
Bye.
Hi, 323-638. You're on Awakenings Radio.
Hi, Michelle. It's me, Angela.
Hey, Angela. It's a whole week today.
So, I remember you have talked earlier about Mercury retrograde, and like for me, I'm kind of like, oh, big deal. But I think I might be affected by it, like I heard talk about Mercury retrograde, and I did meet someone earlier this month who I felt I had hit it off with, almost like a twin flame type of feeling. But he's in the middle of handling a lot of different things, and I think I'm not very chill at dating, and I'm just wondering what you see with that person in me, and also just how to navigate dating and maybe Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, so tell me what you think, because I feel like you do tend to get a lot of, they're either in something or not ready, or think they're ready or not, or busy or moving or something like that, right? So there's a lot, you're tending to attract a lot of people that are in transition, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it seems like that.
Yeah. And the first thing I get, okay, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I'm gonna see what the guys are saying, because do you feel you're in transition?
I feel like I think I'm changing my beliefs to something that's more empowering for me. I feel like I'm in transition in a positive sense. Feel ready for a relationship, but I don't know how to. I don't feel like I know how to date anymore.
It's not easy. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, yeah. Here's the thing I am feeling with you is just to open more instead of looking for the one, to open more to just be with different people, just to hang out more as an experience and to do things with. What I am hearing, though, intuitively, is you need to land more. You need to ground more in land. You need to ground more in the truth of who you are and be more in your life. So there's something that you're there's something you need to what do I want to say? Being more in your life. In other words, even activity-wise, work-wise, you need to be more you, doing you.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like your routine, your career, how you live. So in other words, it's literally, Angela, as I'm looking at you, I'm getting one part of your body. It's like you're not totally in the body, not totally grounded. You know, a part of it always obviously stays extended out. But it's almost like I get this image of like holding on to a big balloon and your tippy toes are on the ground.
Okay.
We need to get the soles of the feet and the heels on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah. So you need to find ways to. Can you see that? Yeah, to ground and be more here in your experience.
Okay, so being more immersed in what I love and
yes, that will do it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to not only get more in your body. You have to get more not only in your body but in your life. So it could be living situation. Somehow I'm always feeling upheaval around you, or there's something very unsettling where you live. Is that true?
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like there's like a lot of change. Like I think before I was just living here with my mother, then my sister and her husband and her baby just moved in, and it just it seems like there's constant flux.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been here
so that's
while.
Yeah, but it's not suiting you, so you're not fully grounding into it. There's some stuff that's just disharmonious, or too much disharmonious for you. I mean, some dissonance or disharmony is fine, but it's too much. So I would say to work to get out of that situation and get in something that more supports you. But until you can do that, I would reach out to some spiritual groups. Join some of our groups, but even in person where you literally go and connect with other like-minded individuals, because I feel you could meet some cool people through that. But you need something that's going to anchor more of your light being energy here, bringing you more into the denser physical body, more into the earth experience. Because it's very hard to draw in or manifest on the earth plane when we're not as connected to the earth plane.
That makes sense.
So that's why you're getting... Yeah, so that's why you're getting a lot of transitory experiences, because it's kind of like you're in this constant transitory experience.
Okay.
So but here's the key: the anchoring in who you are and being more comfortable in that and living that, even when you're traveling, will allow you to draw in, because it's not just a physical thing that I'm talking about, a denser physical thing. It's an inner thing.
It sounds like it.
So,
yeah, that makes sense.
What do you feel happened with this last relationship? What and that causes you to say, "Oh, I don't know how to date"?
I kind of think, okay, well, I'm not in a relationship with him. It's just I noticed that I just don't know how to interact or proceed, because it's like, okay, so with this guy I had recently met earlier this month, I kind of felt like he's been talking about plans about traveling. It kind of seems hot and cold, but he's, like he's in a bit of legal stuff, and like he's handling a whole bunch of different things. And I'm like, then I got the idea. I was like, I should just not put too much on it and just work on my stuff. And then if we hang out, that's cool. You know what I mean? Instead of getting fixated on any one particular person. Because, there's online date. I had closed one online dating account, and then I was like, it kind of feels like a lot of effort just to even meet people or get back to people through email. Like, just because I kind of felt, I don't know if it's intuitively or if I'm imagining it, but, other people write to me, like, based on my online dating profile, and they might look good, but then I get the vibe that something's off. So then I'm not really inclined to get back to them. So it just like, I don't even know. I want it more I just want things to happen with more grace and ease, and just not to overthink things, and just have a more smooth experience and just not be in my head so much.
You just have to try it. If it doesn't work, it's like that it's like looking for a job. I mean, it's you go through a lot of, what's that saying, kiss a lot of frogs or whatever, frog yeses, frog whatever. It's true. So many people you go through to connect, and it's no, and some weird. And I always thought someday I'm going to write a little book or ebook on dating. You know, it's like there's the types that there are. You know, there's this, the bitter Bobs, you know, the burned out Bill. You know, the down, you know, the muscle Mike. I'm on my bike. I'm at work at the gym. You know, just all these types. You know, the hairy hookups. That's all they want. I think you just have to instead of looking for the one, just go out there and, you know, of course that's what you want to draw in, but just see, okay, I'm getting back in there, and let me just see what's happening. Let me just be out there. A lot of times I know people that go on these dating sites and they may not meet anybody through that. It may be just at somebody's house, a friend's house, or something. But the site gets the energy going.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, because I don't know if this is a Mercury retrograde thing, but like recently, like a lot of people that I had, not a lot, but like some people I had been out of touch with, had been getting in contact. It seems like communications are kind of all over the place. Like a guy I had dated a few years ago I talked to him yesterday, and I had that clarity through contrast experience where I was like, okay, I'm glad I'm not with this person because he wanted help with a bunch of things, and then he was kind of passive aggressive. I was like, oh, I'm so glad this one didn't work out because this is just not right for me.
Well, welcome to life. welcome to life. I mean, whatever the setting is, whether it's somebody you're collaborating with, you know, a team member, the CEO of the company, the boss, the supervisor, the employee. It's a lot of people don't have the tools to do their emotional healing, clearing work. They don't know how to move through projection perception. They're just looking to glump onto someone to have a better experience in their life. So you are going to have it, but I think part of what I'm hearing for you is that you just have to kind of philosophically go in there and just know that that's a part of it. That's not necessarily reflecting something on you. It's just the system. It's just the game. It's just the way that it is. And just be open. Okay. Yeah? Just be open.
Yeah, I like that part about being open because I think sometimes it's like I go in with a certain hope, and when I go in with a hope, it sets up a certain expectation, that even subconsciously. You
can be hopeful, but be hopeful of just so that it might be a good time. But if not, just know you're just meeting all different types of parts of humanity. So there's going to be all these different reflections, you know, and then sit with a friend over tea and have a laugh about it, you know. But I feel you got to lighten up on the process because it is a process. Be easier on yourself.
Okay. Yes, I like that a lot. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Okay, it's that time for the second half of our program, and as I mentioned earlier, we have with us Bernardo Kastrup is back. We're going to be diving into the delusion of materialism and that cultural impact. Bernardo Kastrup has a Ph.D. in computer engineering with specializations in artificial intelligence and reconfigurable computing. He's worked as a scientist in some of the world's foremost research laboratories, including the European Organization for Nuclear Research and the Phillips Research Laboratories. Bernardo has authored many scientific papers and 5 philosophy books: Rationalist Spirituality, Dreamed Up Reality, Meaning and Absurdity, and Why Materialism Is Baloney, and as well as Brief Peeks Beyond. Welcome to the program, Bernardo. Okay. Welcome. Well, I thought we had him there. So, just want to make sure. So I'm looking at a Skype number. Let's try it again. Hello. Bernardo, call back in. Tell him to unmute. Bernardo, unmute. Maybe unmute. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see. Or Bernardo, if you can hear me, just call. Hello? Bernardo? Bernardo?
Hello?
Welcome to the program. No, I thought that was you. Okay. Hello? Bernardo? Denise, Mercury retrograde, siren dreams. Oh, my God, yeah. Well, I can help in any way, Bernardo Kastrup. Okay, well, Bernardo, if you're not hearing us, or you're going to have to call back in. Otherwise, I'll just go to the next caller, and the remaining people on the line. Hey, you heard something. Okay, let's see. Come on, Bernardo. Hello? Yeah, it's right about time. Queen might show up. Queen, where are you? Let me see. So it's a VoIP number. I'm getting, let's see. I've got 563-258. You're on Awakening. Hello? You're listening by phone? 563-258. You're just listening by phone? Okay, that's not him either. Okay, well, apparently he's supposed to be here on the line. Maybe he'll call back in. Per Siren Dreams. So if he doesn't call back in, we'll just get to the next caller. Let's see. Is this 323-638? You're on Awakening.
Oh, we just talked? It's me, Angela.
Oh, Angela, hi. Hi, Angela. Okay. Go back again. Okay. Did you have another question?
Oh, I should come up with another question. I can always talk.
Yeah, everybody in the chat is like, oh my God, long in the tooth. So I'm not sure what happened to our guest. Okay, so our guest, if you're listening, okay, there, press 101. Okay, let me try to come back to you. If they're not there, we have a lot of callers calling in now and lighting up. So if the guest isn't here, then I will get back to you. Okay.
Hello.
Ah, Bernardo, there you are. Hello. Welcome.
I was here all along. I could hear you. I could hear the entire drama.
Oh my God! And I kept pressing, and I couldn't hear anything. Oh my God! Oh.
Something went wrong to get close to you. I was pressing 1 and it was not working, and then I called back and it worked. I don't know what happened.
Okay, people in the chat, yay! Welcome. No pressure. Good to have you here, Bernardo.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, God. Listen, also, I got to just say, I love the titles of your books. I mean, you really have this kind of, philosophical, spiritual, scientific trickster energy, like putting things in people's faces to say, what do you believe, or do you believe this? So I wondered, how did you develop this state of mind, or have you always been like this, kind of looking at the world this way?
I think in potentiality I have always been like that, but I think it sort of unfolded over the years in the course of life. I mean, I used to be a materialist. I was a materialist scientist, very, very, as mainstream as they get. At some point in life you start just rethinking things, and I don't quite know why or how, but it triggered a process. And my cynicism turned the other way around. I became very skeptic and cynic of the mainstream materialist views. And the titles of my book try to make a sort of trickster point. I think you're right, that energy is there indeed, a snarky little energy against the mainstream.
So describe to us what a materialist is.
There are a few types of materialism, right? Most people take ethical materialism to be the meaning of the word, meaning somebody who likes to spend a lot of money and buy a lot of things. But there is another meaning, and that's the one I actually mean, which is philosophical materialism. It's this idea that reality, the world, exists outside consciousness, and arrangements of matter, that world, somehow generate consciousness. And that's the view that would imply that when you die and your body decomposes, that your consciousness would die with it, because it is supposed to be generated by your body. So if your body is not there, there is no consciousness. That's philosophical materialism.
So in essence, it's saying, so whatever's physical has consciousness, and the consciousness is emanating from that physicality, which is interesting because that's not the same, no?
No. Materialism would say that only particular arrangements of the physical in the form of brains generate consciousness. And
okay.
Tables and chairs and rocks are not conscious, according to classical materialism. Only brains.
Mm-hmm.
So when things die, then consciousness is gone.
Mm-hmm. Which is diametrically opposed to spiritualism, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Spiritualism would say that consciousness is a part of the soul, and that the soul somehow couples or incarnates in the body, and at death the soul would disconnect from the body. That would be the mainstream spiritualist, dualist view.
Yeah. Yeah. And also that, not sure, because I was going to say, but also, but that spiritual, that consciousness is whether there's a form or not, there's always consciousness. That would be my understanding. What is your view?
My view, giving labels is always tricky. My view, one could call it idealism or non-dualism. It's the view that reality is in consciousness. Matter is in consciousness as a type of experience that happens to be consistent and enduring. That your body is in consciousness, not consciousness is in your body. It's the view that the whole of reality is an excitation, patterns of excitations of consciousness, including what we call matter, including what we call feelings, including what we call intuitions. All of these would be patterns of excitations in consciousness. Consciousness itself being the ground of all reality, experience itself being all there really is. It doesn't postulate, it doesn't infer this entire universe fundamentally outside experience, which we can never really prove.
Mm-hmm. So everything is conscious. I mean, you're saying so the body is also consciousness, or like you said, an extension or excitation of consciousness, if I'm hearing it right.
Surely. I mean, think about it. Everything you have ever known about your body, everything you have ever felt or experienced about your body has been a content of your consciousness. If you reach down now and touch your torso, those feelings, tactile feelings, are in your awareness, are in your consciousness. An image of your face on the mirror is in your awareness. Everything that you have ever known or will ever know about your body has been in your consciousness. So ask yourself, what is more logical, that your body is in your consciousness or that your consciousness is in your body? The fact that we experience the world from the perspective of a body doesn't really mean that your consciousness is in the body. I mean, when you dream at night, you experience the world of the dream from the perspective of an implied body in the dream. Yet it is the whole dream that is in your mind, including your dreamed-up body, not your mind in the dreamed-up body.
Well, that goes back to that some people say everything is mind. I don't know what your thought is that.
Absolutely. I mean, this is staring us in the face from birth. Everything we know, our entire lives, as far as we can ever know, is a content of our minds. The idea of a world outside mind is not an experience. It's an inference. It's a deduction, so to say. We think the world is outside mind because it seems to be necessary to explain certain things, like the fact that we all share the same reality. If reality were a dream, how come we are dreaming together, right? It seems implausible. It's not at all, but I'm just reporting the thinking. We seem to share the same reality, so there must be a reality outside consciousness. Or when we wake up in the morning, we wake up to where the world has gone, apparently without our conscious participation, because we were asleep. So if it were all in consciousness, why don't we wake up exactly in the same point where we left the world when we went to sleep? So in order to explain this, we have postulated or inferred this material world outside consciousness, because people felt in the 19th century that this was necessary. It was a necessary inference. It is not. That reflects just a lack of theoretical creativity, let me put it that way. Materialism is a very cumbersome view of the world. And it's not needed. Its inferences are not needed. We can explain everything, including all the phenomena I just touched upon, by thinking of reality as excitations of consciousness itself, all being in consciousness. I think that the human body is just the image of a particular dissociated configuration of consciousness. When you die, the configuration of consciousness that you experience will change, but your consciousness is not going to go anywhere. There's nowhere for it to go. It's what there is. Where is it going to go?
Yeah. Well, see, that's my understanding of the soul, that it is that like a particle or particulate, a particular aspect of consciousness. There's you could always say there's a design that gets manifested or emanated out,
I think it's a valid
through the body.
Metaphor. Yeah, I think the soul is a perfectly valid metaphor. It symbolically, it conveys meaning that I believe is true. I don't take it to be literal in the sense that I don't see the soul as a kind of ethereal ghost that floats in space-time and jumps into bodies or jumps in and out of bodies. I think the whole of reality, the reality you experience, that reality is in your soul. You cannot find the soul in this reality for the same reason that you cannot find your physical body at night inside your dream. It's the dream that is going on within you. You cannot find the real you in the dream because the dream is in you. I think the soul is the thing. It's the thing in you that is dreaming up your reality and your world right now. You will never be able to find it in this reality. You'll never be able to measure it, to detect it, because the whole thing is unfolding within it.
And what's the difference with some people interchangeably consciousness and awareness? It seems like awareness could stem from consciousness or more consciousness, or the more consciousness, the more awareness. But if you could explain that for us.
This is very tricky because different traditions will use these words in completely different ways. And then we end up discussing the meaning of words as opposed to the actual ideas. We end up in a semantic discussion, so to say. I have my own way of using the words, which many people would disagree with. I mean, in Eastern traditions, people tend to talk of consciousness as something that has content. So you're always conscious of something. And they tend to use the word awareness as the pure ground of experience. If experience are equivalent to a vibrating membrane or a vibrating guitar string, then pure consciousness is the string itself without vibration or awareness, so to say. This is one use of these words. I like to think of awareness as a particular configuration of consciousness, a configuration in which you can be self-reflective. In other words, awareness is when not only are you conscious of something, but you're also conscious that you are conscious of it. You not only know, but you know that you know. And it is this knowing that you know that characterizes human ordinary awareness or human consciousness and differentiates us from perhaps insects. I mean, I don't know because I don't recall ever being an insect. I can't tell you how it feels. I would guess that this is the key differentiator. I mean, maybe some higher primates and humans, we know that we know. That I would call true awareness, this self-reflective mode. And consciousness without awareness is more instinctual. Going back to the metaphor of the dream. When you dream at night, often you don't ask yourself questions like, where have I come from? Why is this happening? Where am I going to? Because you're not self-reflective. You're just drifting along the currents of the dream, experiencing in it. So there is consciousness, but there isn't this self-reflective awareness. That's how I personally use the words.
So awareness, it seems like it could be an extension of consciousness.
Yes, I would say a particular configuration, a special configuration of consciousness. I would even go as far as to say that it is this self-reflective mode of consciousness that we may call awareness that is the meaning of human life. It is the thing we add to the game. It's the thing that we are capable of bringing to the party that in other forms, in other states, it is impossible to achieve. It's this ability to know and know that you know, to self-reflect. I think this is a pretty unique and worthwhile thing that the evolution of life has brought to the universe.
So it's an aspect of, really well described here. You talk about, Bernardo, the delusion of materialism and its cultural impact, that we're being impacted by this delusion. Can you speak to that?
I think if you look at philosophical materialism, this idea that there is a world fundamentally outside consciousness, fundamentally outside experience, and you analyze it based purely on its philosophical merits, you quickly find that it is a very poor philosophy. It has many failures. For instance, it fails completely to explain consciousness itself. It's called in philosophy the hard problem of consciousness, and it has been selected by Science magazine in 2005 as the second most important unanswered question in science today. The first question was, what's the nature of matter? Which is basically the same question, if you ask me.
It is actually, yeah.
Yeah. So
we looked at the same.
It's a fundamentally flawed metaphysical view, and it is a metaphysics. Materialism is a metaphysics. Happens to be the mainstream and happens to be associated with reason itself, but it is a metaphysical view, and it is flawed. So you might ask, how is it so that it continues to be the reigning worldview? I think it is the reigning worldview because it is so synergistic with our economic system, with entrenched current power structures. There is a lot of benefit, a lot of synergies with materialism, because you see, if all that really exists and endures and persists is matter, consciousness being just a temporary side effect of particular arrangements of matter in the form of a biological brain that eventually dies after a few years, then the only conceivable meaning of life is to accumulate material goods. There is nothing else. There is no other game found. And what happens then, you spend your whole life working unnatural hours, dedicating an unnatural amount of energy to the production of material goods, so you can, on the other hand, consume material goods beyond all reasonable needs, while neglecting every other aspect of a true, genuine human life. This is very beneficial to the economic system as we have set it up in the current power structures. I suspect this is a key strength of materialism, this synergy with the power structures that are in place today.
So, it's what I'm hearing in this is that part of the reason maybe it is prevailing is because we've been taught, or, and like you said, based on a monetary system, there's a lot of systems based on having something that is perceived to be tangible, that tangible is real. What can be felt, seen, is real. Smell, whatever, it can be taken through the sense, or what can be held as real. I mean, we even look at that with the idea of Bitcoin or other digital monies or ways of exchanging. It's like, is that real, or can I use that because I can't necessarily hold it? Do you think that we could ever move into a world or create a world that is not based on what is perceived to be tangible?
Absolutely. I'll push back a little bit on the definition of tangible that is implicit in your question. I think, what is more tangible, an abstract world outside experience, or the love you feel for your kids, or the smell of coffee in the morning? I mean, these things are really tangible, or the feeling of hopelessness, or the feeling of loss when you lose a loved one. This is extraordinarily tangible, alive, it's present, it is real. But materialism will say, oh, no, this is just a side effect. It's an illusion created by the movement of molecules and subatomic particles in your brain, chemicals flowing around. We can neglect this because it's not real. What's real is this abstraction that we call a material world outside experience. And they hijack the word tangible, the word concrete, to mean that metaphysical view. And I don't like to allow them to hijack the word. I mean, concreteness, tangibility, palpability, these are qualities of experience, not qualities of an abstract world outside experience. The qualities of this abstract world of materialism are just quantities, mathematical abstractions and relationships. That's not really tangible. So if you ask me, can we move away from this abstraction of materialism and back to the center of human life, which is human experience? I would say absolutely. I mean, it's bound to happen. It's inevitable. There are too many built-in contradictions in the mainstream academic and corporate worldviews today. It cannot last forever, especially in the age of the Internet, where people are talking and exchanging information, comparing notes all the time. Even with the mainstream media that is so biased towards materialism as ours is, you will not be able to contain this tide of change for very long. How long will it take? I don't know. It could be 10 years, could be 20, could be 200 years, but it will not be 1,000.
But it would not be 1,000. Wow. But are we in that mode now, or is it something that's coming?
I think it is coming rather on short term. I think the danger is what will replace it. Will it be a step forward, or will it just allow the delusion of a world outside consciousness to persist? There are some alternatives out there that are not really a step forward, but a lateral step, a band-aid, so to say. But I think, people who are, you don't need to be a philosopher to really tune in to your humanity and get an intuitive feeling about what is true and false. And people are tuning into themselves more and more. I mean, your show is an example. You don't need any philosopher to tell your listeners that intuition is true, that intuition is real, that it's not something you can dismiss. And yet, the mainstream view of our culture is that it is completely dismissible. It is not a valid, reliable source of information. It's just delusion. I mean, and yet, people don't listen to that. They are following their feelings, their humanity. There are things we know without being able to articulate to ourselves. And more this is happening. So I think it's a rather short-term process, a short-term change that will happen. We just have to make sure that the cultural narrative, the story we tell ourselves about what's going on, follows it, catches up with what people intuitively already know.
I think that's powerful what you say, that is what people intuitively already know. I think that's it. It's the, as you say, the cultural narrative, the whatever you want to call mainstream consciousness, race consciousness, hasn't yet been supportive of that. Perhaps there's been touches of that. Which actually brings me to a question, Bernardo. Why is that? Because there is an individual intuitive awareness of this. I would even say probably even more than intuitive, even cognitive. People know this, either don't fully integrate it into their life or even mention it because there's not the cultural climate or the societal climate to validate or to confirm this part of our life. Why do you suppose that happens? It seems to me like a disconnect, because I would think to some degree society should represent what individuals are thinking or experiencing, but in many ways it actually does not.
No, it certainly doesn't. I mean, it's a specific type of people that follow a hardcore, hard-nosed scientific career. I speak this with authority because I am one of them.
Right.
And very often it's people who are not really in touch with the whole range of their humanity. They have one specific psychic function that is very developed, the intellect, but other psychic functions and repressed or undeveloped, like feeling, intuition, perceptive sensitivity, and so on. They may develop later in life, or they may not develop at all. And science, which sort of underlies the mainstream philosophical worldview of our culture, materialism, in other words, has been basically built by this specific type of personality. They were attracted to the scientific quest, and they generate a consensus amongst themselves, and that consensus is then exported to society at large. as the acknowledged consensus worldview. I think that's one factor, and this comes from the 19th century when the West was conquering the world, and there was a need to validate morally that conquest of the world, the setting up of colonies around the world by Western civilization, and the validation was, only tough guys and girls triumph, so to say. And what better way to prove that you are tough by coming up with a worldview that is completely devoid of meaning and say, I'm tough enough to face this reality of a meaningless worldview and stick to it. And that's the birth of materialism and the value system underlying it. Another element that I would connect to the answer is that we always need a narrative. We always need a story that informs us about what's going on. What is happening in the world right now? Who are we? What is the universe? What's our role in it? How does it come to be? And the story of materialism, although flawed, is largely consistent internally. It is a rational, eternally consistent story up to a certain point, and then it fails spectacularly. But it explains a whole bunch of things in a very logical, reasonable way that is also empirically honest in a lot of cases. Not all of them, but in a lot of cases. And we will not drift away from that unless we have a better story to replace it with, because we cannot live a vacuum of story. That's not how the human mind works. We need a story. We need a myth to live by. And today we do not have an alternative story to materialism that is divulged enough, that occupies enough space in the collective consciousness of humankind to offer an alternative to materialism. That's unfortunate. In a sense, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because the dominant materialism mainstream and the media, the academia, they will oppress alternative stories. They will dismiss it. They will make fun of it. They will not give it enough airtime to create a real alternative. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. But once an alternative that is also rational, grounded in observation, and internally consistent emerges, that is better than materialism, better in the sense that it explains more and maybe with less postulated theoretical entities, more parsimonious, then we will shift. But we will need this alternative to be in place before the culture really shifts, because we cannot live in a vacuum of myths, a vacuum of stories.
Right. It has to be played out, it sounds like. Tried out, played out. Bernardo, we're out of time. Love for you to come back and dive in for part 2. Just next time, press your 1. I couldn't see your number, so anyway. Yeah, and now some of this, you have brief peeks beyond, and then why materialism is baloney. Do you go into this in both of those books, what we've been talking about?
Yes, I go into the alternative philosophy, the alternative to materialism. I go in details in why materialism is baloney, and in brief peeks beyond, I summarize that again, and I go into the cultural aspect of this whole thing, the role of the media, the role of science today. It's a broad book.
That sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
That sounds phenomenal. Thank you so much for being on the program. I've loved everything that you've shared. People in the chat are just humming. They're loving and saying thank you. Thanks for a great show, great information. So thank you, Bernardo. Thank you for being a part of Awakenings today and sharing.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye. All right. Wow. I mean, such amazing information. That, of course, was Bernardo Kastrup, and you can find out more information by going to his website. Of course, his books are available on Amazon. I love his website, by the way. You can find out about him, books, follow. There's a forum. There's dialogues. And, of course, the books we were tapping into is Why Materialism is Baloney, as well as Brief Peeks Beyond. And, again, that was Bernardo Kastrup. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of the program. I've really had a great time with all of you. Thank you, listener participants, for calling in. Thanks to everyone in the chat room. And those of you who called in and you didn't get your question answered or didn't get a reading, you can call back next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. And just remember to press 1 on your keypad. Lets me know you want to get on air. Have an inspired rest of the week and a magical weekend, and I'll see you back here next Wednesday. So I'll see you when I see you. Keep shining your light, sharing your insight, and of course, keep awake.
Welcome to Awakening. Awakenings broadcasts every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. Archive shows are available on iTunes. For continued Awaken conversation and insights, join the Awakenings group on Facebook and visit Michelle's blog at soulinsightsforspiritledliving.com. That's Soul Insights, the number 4, spiritledliving.com. Keep awake.